Good morning, everyone. Uh, Welcome to you all to this very interesting webinar on the drug regulatory affairs. Drug regulatory affairs, as you all are from life sciences or the pharmaceutical background, you must be aware that this is one of the most. You could all mute, please. Grateful if all participants could mute, please. It's very important. Otherwise, will everyone will get disturbed due to your. Thank you. So, welcome to this webinar. And as you are aware, that this is one of the most important sort of parts of the pharmaceutical industry, the drug regulatory affairs, the department which handles the all regulatory issues is critical, and it's connected with the 360-degree with the entire organization. So today we are going to uh, have a brief introduction to this industry, and we will briefly talk about what are the opportunities in this industry, how the industry is growing, what are the reasons of growth, what do you do as a drug regulatory affairs professional, what are the career opportunities for you. So regulatory affairs, the drug regulatory affairs, the total market size, the global market size for the drug regulatory affairs industry is close to about $6.5 billion. And it is one of the few sectors which is still growing at about 9 to 10% and will continue to grow as well. And which means the opportunities which are there in the next 5 to 7 years, the opportunities are going to double. I request again everyone to please keep your devices on mute mode. The outsourcing has become very important.
You can try speaking again. There was some.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry. Yeah. So outsourcing in the regulatory affairs is increasing, and there are several reasons for this growth, and we are going to cover this in the next slide in detail. The outsourcing market uh, is uh, and India is playing as a major destination today. India is a competence not only in terms of the launching the launching the new drugs worldwide into the various countries, but we are also hub to provide the regulatory regulatory affairs services to the worldwide, to the global pharmaceutical companies. So this is how the drug regulatory is divided. The $6.5 billion is divided into the pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, and the biotechnology companies. So now we will go into the details of why the reasons of the growth in the regulatory outsourcing is there. First is the increase in the geographical expansion. So the large number of companies are expanding worldwide into the various companies, and specifically if you see the big multinational companies, but also the large number of Indian pharmaceutical companies are today very competent and growing worldwide, and they need the approvals, they apply for the approvals, and this increases the work of the regulatory affairs. Increase in the R&D activities, very important area. Today, a lot of companies are doing R&D, including global companies are always doing, but large number of Indian companies are also doing the R&D. And as a result, clinical trial applications for the new product registrations are increasing worldwide. Third reason is the companies are under constant, pressure for the timely clinical approvals. This is one very important area. When you apply for the drug approvals, you need to be compliant with the time, and this requires work at a very rapid pace. And this is where you're working in different market with the different regulators, and speed is important at the same time. The pressure to reduce costs, the one of the areas the companies are now struggling is the reducing the constant costs, because the generics, if you see the worldwide, the margins, the profit margins on the generic drugs are increasing, and the health regulators worldwide also want to reduce the cost. You must have seen in India, the government is cutting down the prices of the drugs, or the cutting down the healthcare services costs. So this puts a lot of pressure on companies to constantly reduce costs, and that's where the outsourcing model has worked well for the large number of companies. And last but not least, the Indian companies are leading the global pharmaceutical expansion. Today, if you see the companies like Sun Pharma, Indian companies, if you see the Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, Glenmark, you name we have the global leaders today in India, and their expansion is creating a lot of opportunities. The getting into this sector is require a lot of skilling. You require the skills to match what the recruiters need, what the pharmaceutical biotech companies or the medical device companies, cosmetics company, nutraceutical, biopharma companies, they require certain set of skills to get into this industry. So you have a basic, pharmaceutical degree in the life sciences or pharmaceutical, but at the same time, it is important that you keep a pace with what skills the companies require today. So it's a very challenging function. Regulatory, it requires a whole lot of skill sets. So, and over 3,000 jobs are being created, plus 3,000 plus new drug regulatory affairs jobs are created every year in India. So you need to be prepared for these job roles. The certified force, trained workforce is critical for the industry today. You have to deal with the various therapeutic areas. You deal with the several multiple global regulations. You're working in global markets today. So you need to develop the understanding of the science and the regulations very closely. In addition, this requires a lot of systems, processes, work processes, various kinds of applications, various kinds of documentation you need to understand. The two more skills which are most important are the communication. Communication skills play a very crucial role. Uh, Throughout, a very sound English is critical for this job role. So English, both spoken and written English, is very important. Today, most of the work, or rather all the work in this space happens in English. Yes, if you're dealing with the other countries, there the translators are available, but in terms of the core language which you require to have competence is English, and not any regional language or vernacular language in India. And last but not least, your keyboard skills, journal software, there are specialized softwares, there are keyboard skills. You should be good at Journal, Excel, preparing presentation, Word document, Adobe Acrobat, using the Acrobat PDFs. These are the important skills you need. There are a large number of recruiters in India. If you see this, over probably the 1,000 recruiters are there in this space, and every pharmaceutical company, every medical device company, biotech companies, cosmetic companies, wherever you have the regulations there, you will require today, and there's nothing without regulation. Even the Ayush, the all other things are falling into the regulatory framework. So CROs, life sciences, IT consulting firm, specialized regulatory companies are there, nutraceuticals. There are a whole lot of opportunities today for the regulatory affairs professionals. With this, I will take a break here and invite my colleague, Mr. Shiva Kumar. Mr. Shiva Kumar comes with the extensive experience in the drug regulatory affairs, and he's the senior executive at one of the leading global life sciences consulting firms. And Shiva sir will take us today with his presentation on the regulatory affairs professional in more detail. Dr. Shiva, I invite
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
yeah. Hi, Kamal. Thank you very much for the introduction. So, hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing good and safe. So, I am just sharing my screen. So let me know once it is visible for you people. Hope it's visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So at outside, I would like to thank Cliniminds from the Mr. Kamal for the opportunities for this to talk about the regulatory affairs, where we daily deals with this regulatory affairs as a career opportunities in our profession. So basically, my name is Shiv Kumar GB. I am working as a senior executive in Paraxel Internationals. I have almost 9 years of experience with respect to regulatory. My previous companies are like Navitas Life Sciences, Medrec Limited, then Integrated Global Regulatory Services. Then you must be heard Biocon, then Syngene Internationals. All these companies I worked in different departments, say like production, QA, QC. Then it comes to the regulatory. I have mainly into the regulatory for almost 7-8 years with respect to regulatory. So if you talk about the regulatory, so before going to the exact presentation, I want to put some disclaimer on this. Like all these thoughts and whatever the thoughts I'm going to discuss in the future slides, this is all my opinions and I'm not representing any company or entity which I worked earlier or I am currently working. So this is the only disclaimer I wanted to give you. Like, so moving on. So before going to the regulatory affairs, like you must be knowing some idea of the pharmaceutical industries, how it works. Say the pharmaceutical industry is a group of departments. Each department has an individual responsibility. Say the purchase department will purchase the material which required for the dosage form to prepare. The stores department will maintain the whatever the materials which bought from the purchase department they will maintain and dispatch to the production department. Then production will manufacture the dosage form, say like tablet, capsules, injections, all these things they will manufacture in a written, whatever the written procedure which they have. And the QA QC, the quality control, where this is the main department, like quality control, which deals with all the analysis. And once they are approved, that those material will goes into the production. So other than this, the department called quality assurance. So you must be knowing quality assurance will all these procedures which they are carrying out in the production units are the QA people. They are going to authorize and they are going to dispatch the products into the markets or to the end users. So other than this, the main department which involves in the marketing or in the registration of the dosage forms is the regulatory affairs. So regulatory affairs, so it plays a very important role in the pharma industry or in the life sciences industries. So which deals with the mainly into the registrations and all, which we are going to discuss in the future slides. So in this presentation, I am going to, the outline of this presentation is like I'm just going to explain the brief introduction of the regulatory affairs, how it goes and how it is been in the industries. So firstly, we will going to see what is the regulatory affairs. Like in this, we are going to discuss about the definitions and how it is going to work. Then scope, which are the industries the regulatory professionals are really required. So again the roles, the regulatory affairs, what are the roles they are going to carry out in the regulatory affairs professionals. And further to this, the typical activities and skill sets required for the professionals, RA professionals. So regulatory authorities, which are the regulatory authorities involved in the registrations in across the world. So some of the terms and abbreviations used in this RA, we are going to discuss, and structure of RA department. Then finally we are going to deal with this companies involved in the RA services. Can you please confirm anybody I am audible and I am clear with the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. Okay. So firstly, the RA, regulatory affairs, which we call as also call as RA in brief, say regulatory affairs in pharmaceutical industry. So why I am telling in pharma industry, this regulatory affairs will also called in financial department. I will say financials. Say the companies which deals with the finances. So those companies also they call in regulatory affairs. In pharma industry, I'm stressing this. It is a profession which acts as an interface or a bridge between the pharmaceutical industry and the regulatory authorities across the world. So regulatory affairs professionals will act as a bridge. You can see the bridge. So between the pharma company and government agency. So this is the very critical aspects in the pharma industry, where whatever we are going to represent the company or the products in a worldwide or in the regulatory agency. This is something like we are representing the company's reputation or the success and all. So the regulatory affairs mainly deals with the registration of drug products or the devices in the respective countries prior to their marketing. So say if any medicine, if you want to export or market in some countries, say I will just take an example of USA. So if you want to market our products which are manufactured in India, so if you want to export in on market in USA, you need to follow the some steps. So some steps to market and distribute their products in USA means as like other products. Say if you want to export the pen in USA, so you can just import, like you can take import license and export license, so you can directly go into the market. But in case of medicines, that's not going to happen, because this is a life-saving thing. So the all pharmaceuticals are the dosage form which we are using in. So everything goes in the critical scrutiny with respect to drug products which they are consuming in the women's or even animals also. So every aspect is going to scrutinize. So if you want to make any tablets, there are multiple ingredients which is required. Say if I want to manufacture paracetamol, it is a daily used product in every household. So paracetamol not only containing a paracetamol API itself, say active pharmaceutical ingredient, it contains other ingredients also. Say we cannot make a tablet by using only what to say API. It comprising of other ingredients also. Then only we can call it as a tablet or a syrup or even injection also. So the all this process involves chemistry. So we need to analyze how the chemistry is working within the tablet or within the while making the tablets. So all this process will happen in the background of the regulatory affairs. Once we have everything, so we are going to present this documentation into the, say I took an example of USA. So we are present everything into the USA. So once it is approved, so they will be giving us one registration number, which is also called as marketing authorization. So once we are going to stick into our products by mentioning everything. Say the registration number, manufacturing, when it is manufactured, when it's going to have expired. So what are the conditions to be used? Say it should be taken after food, before food. So all these things we are going to incorporate in the dosage forms. So that is where the regulatory affairs comes into the picture. It is a very critical aspect in the pharmaceutical industry, and also it is a very much challenging job, and you should be proud of when we are doing this regulatory affairs. So moving on, the scopes of regulatory professionals in industry. These are the like say pharmaceuticals. So whatever the dosage forms you're using, like tablet, capsules, syrups, and also these are comes in for pharmaceuticals. The medical devices. So say in a household, every household, we are going to use this what is it, nebulization. So I'm just giving one example, medical devices. So in this also we play very important role as a regulatory professional, biologics and biotechnology. So these are the vaccine submissions, vaccine products. I think you must be knowing recently we had developed in India has developed the Covaxin and the Covishield. So it comes under this category. So nutritional products, so vitamin supplements and all they are going to use. And the cosmetics, these are also called the derma products. So the veterinary products, where the products which we use for the animal health and all. So other than this, there is another also opportunity in drug inspectors. So where you can see the if you want to open a medical store, the drug inspector from government is required. Also, if you want to have open a pharmaceutical company, the drug inspectors will come for inspection, and once it is okay, then only they are going to approve our company or the to manufacture our products. So according to the recent survey, the global regulatory affairs professionals by sector. So according to research survey which is happened in 2021, so the jobs which are created under pharmaceuticals is 65%. So the professionals which are working under pharmaceuticals almost 65%, under biotechnology so 11%, and medical devices 24%. So the by this slide we can come to know that the opportunities which are more in the pharmaceuticals compared to medical devices and biotechnology. I'm not like emphasizing more on pharmaceuticals because the trend itself says you the 65% of pharmaceutical percentage is there with pharmaceuticals. So moving on. So the main role of regulatory professionals is to obtaining the approvals or the MA license for the new pharmaceuticals by ensuring the guidelines and regulations and laws. So as I discussed earlier, so the China, you must be knowing China is what to say, the production cost or the whatever the products which they are selling from China is very much less cost. So if the China people wants to export our products to India, so we need to the China people, China regulatory company peoples needs to follow some steps to import their products into the India. So they need to file the application or a marketing authorization application to our industry, our Ministry of Health, which is also called as DCGI. So which we are going to discuss in further. So once they are approved, the reviewers from the DCGI is approved, then they are going to issue the license to export their products to India. So this is what the mainly roles into for the regulatory professionals. So the mainly we are involving in getting the license to market their products, and also the ensuring that the approval or MA license is maintained as long the company wants to keep the products on the market. So if one product is registered, so it will be as per, it will vary from country to country. So if I say UK, if I approved the MA license by the UK authority, so it will be stays for 5 years. So once that 5 years is over, we need to file the renewal application. So they will assess our renewal application. Once they are okay with it, so we are going to get the further extension of the certificate. So whatever the life cycle which is happening for a products, that is also we are taking care by the regulatory affairs professionals. So moving on, the typical activities of RA professionals. So how the work will be there for RA professionals. So identifying projects and therapeutic areas and relevant precedents. So in this case, so in recent days, India has manufactured vaccines, say Covishield, Covaxin. There is a huge demand in across the world. So if I want to sell this product in UK, so we need to identify the projects. Say I have a product called Covaxin or Covishield, so which acts for the corona disease. So we are going to write the summaries, how it going to like use or how it going to be, we are going to sell this product, and we are going to create that presentation. So once it is that is done, the planning of health authorities interactions, say we are going to meetings and submissions. So what we are going to market the product, so why we are going to project, because there is a huge demand in the subcontinent, other countries. So where we are going to, so which country you are going to target. So when we are going to submit these applications, so who has to submit, which department, say which in regulatory affairs there are we are going to divide it into different based on the region, say US, UK, Africa, ASEAN countries, all these countries. So we are who is going to do that. So other than this, internal meetings, so sometimes we are going to lead the meeting. Say if your products are there in the meeting, so we are going to lead. Sometimes we are going to attend the meeting. So say, so if others are presenting these products, we are going to attend. Sometimes we plan and schedule. So the communicating with co-workers and stakeholders. So the communication should be very clean and clear with respect to other departments, because the regulatory affairs of department is going to deal with across all the departments which are in the product, which are in the pharma industry, say production, QA, QC, then purchase department, then API manufacturer also. So it should be a team and management and health authorities and consultants. Finally, other than all these things, the submission work, we are going to, once we receive the documents from the QA, QC, from the production, we are going to whether the information which they have given is whether it is correct, if it is matching our guidelines and all. So we are going to authorize, review, and it's going to be operational. So we are going to include in our dossiers. So moving on, the skill sets of RA professionals. So mainly the skill sets is required is, it should be a scientific background, say M.Pharm, B.Pharm, or MSc, BSc. So all these, even sometimes they take engineering peoples also. So in the other than this, you should be interpretation and judgment. So the interpretation is very important. Say, so every country has a minimum set of guidelines. So we need to, once we go through that, we need to interpret, and we should make some judgment how we are going to submit the dossier and all. So further to this, they should have a strong communication skills, then listening to the others ideas, or the people's. They should be talking, presenting, and writing all these things. Then organization skills also should be required. So in every professional, organization skills are required. So you should be very much organized, then only the things will happen. So you should, if you want to follow up with somebody, so you should fix the time. Then we should be explaining our whatever the things are there. So then only if they are agreed, we are going to get the documents or something. Like, it should be enthusiasm as well, so as other professionals required. So moving on, some of the regulatory authorities involved worldwide. So I have included whatever the slides fits into. So there are, in worldwide, there are total 195 countries are there. So all countries have their Ministry of Health, which they are which when we submit the documents, they are going to review it and give the MA licenses. So in India, we have a Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSC. We can also call it as CDSCO. In USA, you have Food and Drug Administrations. UK, you have MHRA, so Medicine and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. Australia, we have a Therapeutic Goods Administration. So like this, the regulatory authorities are there. So if you want to submit your dossier into the FDA or UK, MHRA, or Australia, so say I will take Australia, therapeutic good. We need to go to their website, and we need to download the guidelines which requires to submit our dossier. So we are going to see the guidelines, what's going to tell us, and we are going to interpret into the checklist. Then we are going to get the documents from the plant pharma industry. So then we are putting everything into the alignment with respect to the guidelines, what it says, and then we submit to the authority. So this is the complete process happens in the regulatory affairs. So other than this, some of the international organization, you must be heard World Health Organization, WHO. I think during Corona time, they think they are really involved, WHO. So they're into like looking the human beings in poor countries, and also sometimes they actually WHO has they raise the funds from across all the countries. Then if the poor, they will support the poor countries with respect to the food and medicines as well. So other than this, we have a Pan American Health Organization and also International Council on Harmonization. I say this ICH is plays a very huge role in the regulatory affairs. So all guidelines which ICH follows, they are going to follow by all these regulatory authorities. So in ICH plays a huge role in regulatory affairs. So whenever we have any doubts with respect to regulatory affairs or the submissions or which we are filing to across all the countries, we are referring to this ICH, International Council on Harmonizations. So moving on, some of the terms, abbreviations we use in regulatory affairs. These are the frequently. So the day in day out, we are going to use use some abbreviations or terms in regulatory affairs. Say CTD. We also this is the common technical document. So common technical document. This is the document where we put everything, the documents which we get from the in the pharma industry, and put it in. We make it as a book-like things. So it comprising everything, the watch ingredients we have used, what API we use, from where we have used. So till when it is the product will be stable. So what is the manufacturing procedure we have used. So all these things will go into this CTD. So other than this, ECTD, electronic. Now all submissions which are accepted by worldwide is ECTD, electronic common technical documents. So this is once the CTD is developed, we are going to make it as ECTD by using some tools, say publishing tools and all. So we are going to link the documents with respect to some documents you must be seen. If you click on the TOC, table of content, it will goes to the respective documents, respective pages. So those things we do in this ECTD part. Other than this, PCTD, paper common technique. Once we prepared that CTD documents, so we are going to print that documents and send it to the respective regulatory country. So it is also called as.
Shiva sir, just 2 minutes. I think your presentation is just dropped.
Sorry.
Your presentation, your screen. I can see your screen. Just
you can see, right?
Sir, you're there. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
No, Shiva, there's no presentation.
You can see now?
You can't see your presentation.
Now?
No.
Just if you can try again. You can
One second. Yeah, sorry. Hope you can see now.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So where you are like CTD, non-electronic submissions, non-CTD, DMF, say DMF, drug master file. So drug master file is this belongs to the API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. Say I as earlier told you, the paracetamol, but the paracetamol we called as API in regulatory terms. So if I want to register in UK or US, you need to prepare the DMF. So then we are going to submit to the UK or USA. Once they are okay, where they are going to issue their MA licenses to market our product in UK or USA. So you should be having the DMFs if you want to market your product in UK or US or anywhere in the world. So CEP. So this is certificate of a pharmaceutical product. So this is issued by EU authorities. So other than this, variations. So initially we have filed. Can please imagine, like if initially you have filed some product which is having the manufacturer A. So, however, because of some reasons, he quit his production. So we need to shift to the other manufacturer. So we need to introduce, say, I am considering as a B. So we once it is B, so we need to file a variation. So based on the studies which we carried out in the R&D, so by including the second B manufacturer, so we need to submit the variation filing to the where we have filed earlier. So renewal. So if you some products, if you registered in some countries, it is valid for 5 years, 3 years, even 1 year also, based on their regulations and all. So once it is 3 years or 5 years is over, so we need to file renewals. So how initially whatever we filed, whether the process is same or not, so we need to include everything into here, and we need to submit the renewal. So other than this, life cycle management we call it. So this is life cycle management, so right from the filing initially, then we file the variation, then renewals, all this we called as a life cycle management. So other than this, COP, the certificate of pharmaceutical product we call. So anything, if you want to export from India, so you should be having a certificate of pharmaceutical, which is issued by WHO, or like DCGI, or local drug authorities. So I would say in Bangalore we have regulatory authorities. So if you apply for COPP, they are going to issue for each product, so which needs to be attached with along with the dossier, as even with while sending the products also. This is FSC, free sale certificate we also call. So FSC, free sale certificate, which what's going to tell us is like which we are manufacturing and marketing in India, so which the same thing we are marketing in your country. So that is what it's going to tell us. So moving on. So the regulatory affairs structure. So how the regulatory affairs looks like. So if I say regulatory affairs department, there are 3 sections in this: clinical and non-clinical experts, CMC or quality experts, then publishing experts. So the jobs which will be generated in all these 3 fields. So clinical and non-clinical experts means, so once the product has been established, say from the R&D, so it's going with the preclinical and clinical studies. So it's going to be tested in the animals, and also in vitro studies also they are going to go. So once the studies has been conducted and the reports are generated, so from regulator professional they are going to review, which they will also call as non-clinical and non-clinical experts. So these in clinical and non-clinical expert, the jobs are very limited. Say if I develop the one product, so if I prepare once, so that will sufficient to submit all the countries. Say in this, we also called as module 5 and module 4 and 5. So other than this, regulatory affairs department having CMC or quality experts. So this is in this field we have multiple opportunities. In this only we say, so if I say the company has 1,000 products into 195 countries, so if you are submitting, so how much opportunities you have. So all these opportunities are the procedures will be dealt by the CMC or quality experts. So other than this, the equal opportunities with respect to publishing experts also. This is more into the dealing with the tools which the IT people has developed to submit the electronic submissions. In both field you have huge opportunities with respect to regulatory affairs. I would prefer you people to choose within these 2. Yeah, thank you. So further to this, so if you want to join as a regulatory professional, so initially you will be an individual contributor. So with in individual contributor, you will be joined as a trainee regulatory affairs or a junior regulatory affairs or associate. Some companies will also call as officers. So some companies we call as regulatory associates as well as specialists as well. So we also call as senior regulatory professional. These are some of the individual contributors. So the manager or a team lead will tell you to do this. So we should be contributing. So individual contributor also divided by the countries. So you need to carry your registrations to these countries or these products. So if individual is able to tell what are the country's requirements, what are the products you are handling. So all these individual contributors roles will be there. So once we are good with this individual contribution, you move to the team leads. So we also call as a consultant or lead. So sometimes we call as senior consultant or assistant manager. So team lead which deals with individual contributors. So whatever the team leads tells individual contributor is going to do that. So for that, once you are done with, so the managers, senior manager or head of the regulatory affairs, so which you are going to act as a project lead. So whatever the senior management is going to convey you, so you're going to convey to team leader, then individual contributor. This is how it goes. So other than this, the associate director, so management or executive leadership team we are also going to. So once you are joined, so I think the manager will happen in 10 12 years. So again, it also depends on your performance, how you perform, how you are active with your job and all. So this is the brief introduction about the structure, how the regulatory affairs is there. So this is, I think, last slide. The companies which involved in the RBI services. So these are the companies involved. I have just included some of the companies. I think behind this there are many companies providing the RBI services. So first one is Paraxel. So where I was currently working. So I think this is the vastly growing. So I am just taking one example. So I am working with a client called Sanofi Aventis. So initially they have started with a group of 4 or 5 people. So now the peoples has been grown to the 150 peoples in regulatory itself. So this is how the regulatory is growing in inside the country, inside the companies, and even and I am going to tell you in in further companies list, say IQVA. So this is also leading company in India. So where they are mainly into the clinical trials and all. However, they are started the regulatory services as well. So the Baxter, you must be knowing, Baxter is they're specialist in injectable stream. So this company is located in Bangalore as well, in the Gurgaon also. So the Paraxel is located in Bangalore, across all parts of India, say Bangalore, India, Mohali. So they are into, I think that's it. So other than Synosis, these companies earlier we also called as Kynaps. So the Synos has a takeover that Kynaps. So these people located in Bangalore as well, Gurugram also. So GSK, you must be knowing GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. So this company located across India. So this company also provides the RVS services. So Navitas, it also called as Take Solutions earlier. So I have been there in Navitas. Then Pfizer, you must be knowing Pfizer. Pfizer, it's a very good, very what do you say, MNC. So they are into Chennai. I think the RA team is in Chennai. So also the Medric Limited, recently it has taken over by the Meiji Group, which is Japan. So IGRS, Integrated Global Regulatory Service, they are into the regulatory stream as well. AstraZeneca, you must be knowing AstraZeneca company. So they are also into the regulatory services. Fire, this is the CRO company where it locates us in Hyderabad. So these people also will provide us the regulatory services. So where we are going to fit into. Also the Merck, you must be knowing Merck company. The recently whatever the regulatory the jobs were there in UK, they are shifted to Bangalore, electronic city. So all because India is like very much, what to say, we are helping people, and also we are ready to work. So like this culture we cannot expect from other countries, what I feel. So that is where the opportunities comes in, so into the regulatory. Then there's also Sun Pharma, you must be knowing Sun Pharma. So Elanco deals with the veterinary products. They manufacture in India, they'll sell across all the worldwide. So also the VCLC, Voice and Consulting Life Sciences, which locates in Bangalore. So MMS Holding, which is also located in Bangalore. So Dr. Reddy's, you must be knowing Dr. Reddy's, how used company it is. So it's located in Hyderabad, the Dr. Reddy's also will provide us the RA professionals jobs and all. So Arabindo also, then Granules, which both companies are located in Hyderabad. Also the Genpact, this is the IT consulting firm. So where they have started regulatory services full-fledged. I think nowadays there are more people are going into the Genpact. This is IT firm. So the Contem India, I think this located in Chandigarh. So this company also provided the Pharma Leaf. You must be knowing Pharma Leaves. Then Clean Choices. Clean Choices, earlier it was a HiMed Global. So they are also into the RA professionals jobs and all. Accenture, you must be knowing Accenture very, very, very well. So these people also into the RA services. So many people are working here. So and also TCS, you must be knowing very much in TCS also. Tata Consultancy Services. They are also into the services of regulatory affairs. Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceutical Limited. You must be come across as any government supplies by this name. Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceutical Limited. So they are specialists in injectables. This is the government company. So where all products which are manufactured in Bangalore across India, so they are going to sell it in like say African region, then ASEAN countries. So all these countries they even government opportunities also there with respect to regulatory. So Biocon, you must be knowing Biocon, which locates in Bangalore. So MCure, I think MCure is recently, you must be knowing Shark Tank India, Namita, I would say. So HCL is the IT firm, so where they are also into the regulatory stream with respect to medical devices. So this is some of the companies I have included, which fits into this slide. So I think behind this there are many companies are there with respect to regulatory services. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. So we
Thank you.
happy
Thank you, Shiva.
to help
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Shiva, for
Kamalji.
your fabulous presentation. I think in
Yeah,
putting
great.
this in perspective. So
Yes, correct.
before we go into the question answer session, I would like to invite my next guest
Yeah, great.
here.
Yeah.
We have a very eminent person, Mr. Anshul Saxena. Mr.
Mhm.
Anshul Saxena is a, he's a management professional with 2 decades of experience in the human resources, organizational development, vocational education, public policy, government licensing in the life sciences pharma sector, and he is currently the senior director at Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Council under the Ministry of Skill Development, Government of India. And he is involved into the several transformational projects for the pharmaceutical sector with various ministry and get the industry, 4.0 ready. And to execute the same closely, working with the leading pharmaceutical groups in India and internationally, and with the HR leaders as with the government officials in the various ministries and the state government. I am pleased to invite Anshulji for you to speak a few words on this sector. You have extensive experience, so please, address the understand.
Thank you, Kamalji, and a very warm good afternoon to everyone. Hope this session going forward takes you to the heights of your success. Really amazing, and I would say deserving to be applauded. An effort by Cliniminds to bring the such programs which are actually required to bridge the gap. Before I just talk anything about us, just let me just briefly tell you what this organization from where I come from. So you must have heard in my introduction, Mr. Kamal has mentioned Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Council. A large name, a very long name to remember. We call it as LSSSDC. This is a organization which works under the mandate of Ministry of Skill Development under public-private partnership model. Majorly, the vision and the entire execution is driven by both public and private industry partnership for this organization. We have representation of industry, close to 95% of industry represent on this council, where we actually identify the gap in terms of skills in India for various levels, starting from the freshers going to the working professionals across occupations who work in life sciences sector. And when I mention life sciences sector, I'm talking about pharmaceutical, including Ayush, biotechnology, including biopharma, including medical devices, bioagri, biofuel, and going to the contract research, which probably a large part of R&D exercise nowadays are done through contract such organizations. So it covers the entire R&D base. What we actually intend to do is to develop the national standards of the skill sets. That means if you talk about today, as we are talking about regulatory affair as an occupation. Now, in the regulatory affair and occupation, Shiva has just shown you in the slide about various levels in which you are deputed in an organization when you join a regulatory affair department. For each unique role which you play in that particular department, there are certain set of competencies which you require to hone, to possess, which you require to exhibit. Across organizations, these competencies vary from say 60% to 90%, while what we do is we do the cataloging of all, do an inclusive approach and identify what are the most common and required in all-inclusive competencies for a person, say for an example, who is joining an organization as associate regulatory affair. We get it validated across industries in India, including the multinational companies, including the contract such organizations, including the service providers like Accenture, HCL, Convergys, and so get them validated that yes, these are the ones, and then declare them as a national occupation standards. Then alongside, we also work with industry to identify the skill gap, that what is the skill gap which is actually they are facing when they are hiring a fresh student in their organization. At the same time, what are the skill gaps they are right now struggling to cope with respect to the ongoing changes which are happening across world on regulatory affair, or I'm talking about, for an example, I'm saying regulatory affair, but probably any skill set. It could be production, it could be quality, it could be a kind of research, innovative product development, it could be sales and marketing, it could be supply chain, and so on. So we do that exercise, and then basis the skill gap, we actually launch the vocational programs, which are then run across institutions, universities, and which includes industry organizations like Cliniminds. Cliniminds work with us extensively on number of programs that we offer. Some of the programs we take in a pilot base, like and do them and run them with Cliniminds, and then take the subsequent approvals from the government. Some programs we take approval from government and then run with organizations like Cliniminds and others. The idea is to bridge the gap. And when I see launch of such programs with an organization, very prominent entity in this space like Cliniminds, I feel really happy. That's something that we envisage, that we intend to do. Our partner organizations like Cliniminds are taking it for the implementation. I'm glad, Kamalji, congratulations to your team for launch of this program. Let me give you a little insight. Shiva has already covered most aspects to it, but probably, and he has been an authority to talk on the regulatory aspect. But let me just give you an aspect of opportunities that exist for all the students who take up a role in a regulatory. First of all, let me put one thing very clear. If you are taking a regulatory role, you should be ready to take up challenges in your life. And that goes it, as you have thought of joining a life sciences sector, you should be ready for the challenges all through life. And you should, with that, you should also believe in yourself that you will be capable of resolving those challenges, mitigating all the risk for you, your organizations, and will be succeeding. The key to success is the skills that you would have. If you would have the skills which are required, you will be one of the most successful person in your life across all your friend circles, across the society circles where you represent. Why I say this? Because when we are talking about life sciences sector, this is one sector which is actually catering to the human life in addition to the healthcare sector, which actually, I would say, serve the human life. But the healthcare sector cannot serve human life without the presence of life sciences sector. You talk about pharmaceuticals, that means medicines. They might come out from a chemical, compound called pharmaceutical. They might come out from a biological cell that will go biologics. That may be a medical device that would be probably used, by you at the, I would say, just to, measure your own body temperature, or, your SpO2 measurements that we all, did in the COVID terms. And we got used to it. It could be a nebulizer. Shiva just mentioned that part. Or it could be an implant, a knee surgery, the cup which is being put up into the knee, it could be a stent, placed in the heart valve. So anything is done, everything is manufactured, researched, proven for its efficacy, safety, and quality for the intended user. It could be human, it could be animal. I'm talking about both because we're talking about human as well as veg. So, but without this sector, nobody can serve the humanity. Nobody can serve the living beings. This sector hence becomes very important, and every government tries to see that there need to be enough regulations placed so that efficacy, safety is in place. Now, when you join a profession as a regulatory affair, you are actually a custodian for the safety, or just not for a user, but for society, for your own family, because you would never know if in your family somebody is purchasing a drug or medical device or a vaccine to which you have sought the approval for, or you had been responsible to maintain the regulatory and the quality approvals aspects. So that becomes one of the important part, and I think you should feel proud in case you join this, that you are serving well to humanity to the highest level at par to a doctor. So that's point one which I wanted to put up. The second point which I wanted to put up forward is the opportunities in front of you. So let me give you probably a gist of the opportunities. Shiva has already talked about number of companies. Let me put it into different baskets. A regulatory affairs division has commonly, Kamalji and Shiva, correct me if I'm wrong, because both of you are the authorities in this area. I'm just learning from all able leadership. So what we actually understand is it has three parts to it. One part which goes to the R&D space, where you are developing an innovative product, or you are trying to innovate in terms of repurpose of a approved product. We have seen in the COVID times, many organizations actually did that. So that is one part where you are trying to help with the scientists, with the biologists, with the clinical research professionals to get the regulatory submissions done, so that the regulatory affair authorities in every country are finding your product at par to the scientific, I would say, protocols, at par to the efficacy standards, at par to the safety standards, and you are fulfilling that, where you need to really, I would say, work in a collaborative manner to the scientific team altogether. You will become as good as a researcher. And here your two aspects becomes very important. One is a coordination, understanding of science behind every innovation, and the regulatory aspects, the understanding of a regulatory regulation set up by a country's regulatory body. Then it becomes very important to understand the steps of the processes. So the skill set required to understand what the format will be, why that format is equally important, what the intention and objective behind it, so that if you are not fulfilling a format in one way, you are actually supporting with other documents, and there you are able to contribute and communicate internally with your internal organization and do that. So one is that aspect. Second aspect is where at times you might get into a role where you are directly dealing. So one team which is developing a dossier, second team and submitting it to the ECTDs, then second team which is actually dealing and going to the regulatory bodies and talking to them and liaising with them, that's the next part of it. Then the third part of it, once the approval has done, or the approval is supposed to be done. So once approval has done on paper, there'll be a site inspection. So there will be a third team, which will be the site, who will be ensuring that at site, whatever is being said in the dossier is being fulfilled, is being presented well, and it is justified. So the audits of a regulatory affair person is as good and in-depth involved as it could be a manufacturing head or it could be a quality head in the organization. So that will be a third section. So these three aspects, and the fourth aspect is that once you got the market authorization and your plant is running, you really need to ensure that you maintain all regulatory approvals at par. And the fifth component that comes in, that if you have a variation, if you have a change in anything that is listed in Drug Master File or anything that has been listed in a market approval conditions, then you liaison again with the regulatory bodies, submit again a dossier, get the post-market approval, post-market changes authorization again from the regulatory body. So these are the 5 parts to it, which flows in the life. So you could be in any organization, in any team while developing, while dealing in the regulatory affairs section. The sixth component, which is very important, and I think there nowadays we get a lot of opportunities, is if you are involved with a service organization. That means you are not with a manufacturer, you're not with a sponsor, you are not with an innovator. You are with a service organization. That could be a CRO, that could be a healthcare service provider, that could be a regulatory affair consultant, or that could be a backend service provider like Accenture, like Parexel, or any. Parexel is CRO itself, it's a full service CRO. But I'm talking about the many which are only catering to the backend aspects to it to serve that. So anywhere you will be, you really need to possess certain competencies which are required. And we are firm believers that with the background that you carry of science, that will help you to understand why and what. It will also be facilitated and enabled to you the more of a skill set of practicals and the applicability aspects through the program that Cliniminds is running and many other programs that we run under national ambit for the regulatory affair. Cliniminds is one of such partner with us where we work with number of organizations. But I would say in that particular aspect, you will get an exposure to why, how, when, who. These aspects will be covered, which will probably enable you to be a competent resource to take up a role in an organization where you will be handling any specific role assigned to you in the regulatory affair authority, in the regulatory affair occupation, in the regulatory affair domain. So that is going to be. Yeah. Let me just give you an insight about what is the trend and the situation in India and globe. Let me talk about India first, and then I'll go to the globe. In India, post-COVID, number one, before even COVID, there was a initiative taken by Government of India called Atmanirbhar Bharat to minimize our dependency on China for APIs. And there is a profit link, production link incentive program given to the manufacturer to come forward and manufacture the different APIs. Now, for that, certainly there's a surge of funding, there's a surge of investment in that API segment. And so the opportunities for regulatory affairs professionals have bumped up. Secondly, as we are talking about developing those products not for India domestic per se, but also at global standards, because those APIs will be used as the raw material for developing any export-oriented drug. So for that particular aspect, you would also need to cater to a global aspect. You also need to cater to a global level of working, hence involvement to a global regulatory licensing becomes very important. There is an opportunity for that. With this, in the COVID terms, the export role of India, which was already third largest in the world, has really bumped up multifold. And today, a lot of organizations, a lot of countries which were actually importing from China have boycotted China, and they're looking for other countries which are able to export. So Indian export business is going further up. What does it mean to you? That means a regulatory affair aspect, which was not looked into earlier. If an industry was only catering to the domestic market, now they see a possibility going to the export market. Hence, the regulatory affair aspect goes up and you get more opportunities. Beyond this, there are medical devices industry which have been pampered, which have been supported, and a lot of medical device parks are coming up in India. Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India is being supported well. What does it mean? There are a lot of manufacturers of medical devices where, like simple, oximeter, which was earlier 90% it was imported. Now we have seen a surge of domestic manufacturers. They have catered to Indian need already. Now they are looking at the export need. What does it mean? There is a regulatory aspect, where is an opportunity for regulatory affair within India. Now, this is an Indian aspect. I'm talking about now going for a, I missed another part. The Ayush industry and Ayush ministry is now talking about, how to cater to the global need. And if you would have heard very recently, Prime Minister Modi has talked about launch of Ayush mark. There's a hallmark hota hai. On the same side, there will be an Ayush mark, which will talk about a license and a proof of quality of a drug which has been produced at par to the global standards. So what does it mean to you? There will be more opportunities for regulatory affair within Ayush sector as well within India. So this is an Indian aspect of the manufacturers and innovators. Let me give you the other aspects. There are CROs and service organizations in India which have started working globally, and more projects are coming into India because of the sheer talent force that we have. So there is an opportunity which is available for you being in India, work for an organization which is globally situated, maybe Denmark, maybe US, maybe UK, maybe Australia, maybe South Africa, but you are serving as a part of their process team and able to, manage their products and their regulatory affair aspects sitting in India. So that's another part of it, which is coming up forward. The other angle, which a couple of days before I and Kamalji were discussing about the recent shift of medical device regulations in EU. Okay. And that is talking about that everybody who was catering to a UK, European market, now they are transitioning from one level of regulatory affair going to the second, the higher level of regulatory affair. They need to comply with those compliances. Hence, there is an opportunity for the service organizations, and we are catering to them as well for the medical device industry. So there's a huge market. Now, as there is a huge market, so there is a huge population who is coming forward to it. Who will win? Who will grab the position? Who will get the opportunity? Somebody who is more competent, who is more skilled, he or she, a candidate who is able to show and exhibit the competences in interview and at work. At the same time, the people who are already there as a regulatory affair professionals, if they are well versed with those transitions and changes, they probably will be getting bigger opportunities, higher opportunities, getting more promotions and so, if they continue developing their skill set. And I believe Cliniminds program is all about it. It's all about it. And that's what I really congratulate Kamalji for coming up with such wonderful programs. I'm already a fan of Cliniminds since 2006 when I joined the life sciences industry. The first as a head HR for one of the clinical research organization. And since then, I know Cliniminds and probably have been a fan for it. I really wish all the students who are participating in this program, please, and I request you, please devote your time and attention to get best out of it, because over here, Cliniminds or any other organization who is partnering in this program or any program that you go for a knowledge and learning for practical, they can only give you an opportunity to learn. The responsibility of learning and honing that skill set is all about you. If you don't own the responsibility, you will still be spending time, you'll be spending money, you will still be going with empty hand, and then you will say, oh, I did Cliniminds program, it didn't serve the purpose. My dear friends, the serving the purpose is all about you. You go to the movie, you research well, you enjoy, you don't enjoy. It all depends whether you actually enjoyed the movie when the movie was running. But if you continue chatting with your friends and being on a WhatsApp, didn't enjoy the movie, your ticket is wasted. I'm talking about a very simple term. So I think all the young guys will probably relate to it. You have researched well, joined the Cliniminds program. I think that will serve a good purpose and good opportunity for you to learn. All the best to you. Do well in this program. Hope to see you anytime in the industry, any industry where I will visit, to see you serving there as a regulatory affair professional. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Kamalji.
Thank you. Thank you, Anshuda. Thanks a lot for, words coming from you means a lot to us. Being a guru of life sciences skills, actually, and the business processes, I think it means a lot to us. And in the interest of time, we'll take questions immediately. People can unmute and ask question actually by voice. We will not go through the written questions now. Very little time left. I think people have other things to catch up. You can unmute and ask question, please, one by one.
You can try unmuting yourself and ask your question.
Ask the question, please.
Will be able
Abhishek Banerjee. Abhishek Banerjee wanted to ask question. Anyone would like to ask questions about anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Abhishek. Yeah, carry on. Anyone wants to ask question? Unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
We have few questions in the chat box.
Jade, Jade, Techie. Yeah, you have raised hand, Jade. You can speak. Okay. Yeah, Vinayak, you can read out the questions.
There are a few questions in the chat box. The first
Yeah.
is, shall we file the drug product having the dosing device without a CE certificate for the European market?
Very specific question. We will be very, very glad to answer this. Shiva, do you want to take this? Very specific medical device question.
No. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. Shall we file the drug product having the dosing device without a CE certificate for the European market?
This is with respect to medical devices or product pharmaceuticals? I just wanted to ask you.
Who is this? Who has asked, Vinayak?
Who is
The
that?
question
From Sai Vikas.
Sai Vikas, are you there?
Can you please elaborate your question, please?
It's not there, I guess. All right, we can leave this out. And
Okay.
anyone else? Anyone else you want to voice question? Jade, you have raised your hand, please. You
Hello?
want to talk? Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah, Jade. Yeah.
I'm audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Jade, yeah.
Sir, actually, I want to know that what's the requirement NDCT and ANDA, NDA documents required to submissions?
It's a very long subject, Jade.
Yeah.
I think you need to learn the entire course. Perhaps it's a very long. It might take probably 20 hours to teach that what you're asking actually.
Correct.
So there are a lot
yeah.
of regulatory responsibilities. So this is where we very quickly. I wanted to make a point before I take more questions. Cliniminds has
Okay,
this.
sir. Sir, one more question. A
Yes.
little bit, sir. What the PCTD, sir?
Papers. It's a paper CTD. Say some countries, say African region peoples, they still accept the paper submission. Say like we prepare the dossier and according to the CTD format, and then we will print in a decent binding and all. So then we will send through the courier, and then once it is reached to the marketing peoples in the respective region, it is going to submit to the agency. It is just like a paper binding dossier.
One question. Yeah, Akshay, you mentioned what are the WHO requirements? WHO requirements for what? WHO requirement for drug device.
Drug
what
products,
is?
sir. Drug products, sir.
Again, it's a very, very, very vast question, Akshay. It's a question which requires, and no one has been able to answer till date. I mean, every product, every vaccine device has got different
Sir, for products,
requirements.
means
There are
how many exhibit batches have to be submitted and stability
again
data.
different.
Minimum,
Again different.
yeah. Minimum 3 batches you should be having, either R&D batches or production batches you should be having. So the study should be completed, like say minimum 6 months of accelerated studies, minimum of 12 months of like long-term data. So all these things, I think there are many things into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Sir,
before we,
hello, sir. One more question.
Yeah.
yeah, Akshay.
Sir, in CV30 filing and pass filing, sir, what is the basic difference, sir, between that level 2 and level 1 changes are there?
Which one?
SUPAC guidelines?
Can you please tell me one second?
Sir, pass filing prior to approval supplement.
Okay.
Sir, in that, sir, level 1, level 2, level 3, these changes are there, sir.
So we are talking about which countries?
Sir, for US market.
So okay. So I think the US like NDA, INDA, all these filings.
Sir, ANDA, for ANDA, generic drug submission.
I think that goes in very deep into the
These are very specific Akshay
correct.
questions,
Okay,
and
okay,
this
okay,
is how
sir.
we have designed this program.
Correct,
Very quickly,
yeah.
before I
No
take
problem,
more
sir.
questions,
Yeah.
before I take, excuse me, yeah, before I take more questions, Cliniminds has this certified program by the Licensing Sector Skill Development Council on the Drug Regulatory Affairs, IPR, and Patents. This is the 6 months weekend program, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday evening classes and Sunday classes, where we train students completely on the drug regulatory affairs, IPR, patents. At the end, they give the exam on the LSSDC portal. And then once they are certified, we also provide the complete placement support to the students, arrange interviews with the companies, prepare you for the job interviews. The batch timings and all are in May end. My colleagues will be sharing the information with you shortly on the dates of the program and how this program is run. This is a very interactive program. So there will be senior level professionals from the regulatory and intellectual property space who will be teaching you this very practical, what is required by the industry. There's no theory, what you have learned in your previous qualifications anywhere else in any qualification. We don't cover those theory again. We cover practical, what industry requires today. So this is the 6 months weekend program certified by the LSSDC, and it's internationally accredited as well in the by the Accreditation Council for Clinical Research Education in US as well. So we'll be sharing this information with you shortly. Yeah, Abhishek, you have question, Abhishek. Yeah, you have raised hands a few times. Abhishek, do you want to ask question? Sai Vikas, have your question, Sai? Yeah,
Hi,
you have
yes,
raised
sir.
hand. Hi, yes, Sai.
Uh, Sir, I know that ECTD represents electronic common technical document. Just now you said that PCTD refers to paper common technical document.
Right.
Sir, what makes the difference between CTD and PCTD, sir? Means ECD means we submit in electronic format. Then
Correct.
what makes the difference between CTD and PCTD? Means
So
CTD, how we
PCTD,
will...
as sir explained already, this is the paper based. You make the
paper.
folders, basically.
Yeah, the preparation procedure is same for both ECTD and PCTD. So once we are done with ECTD or ECTD, so we are going to print the documents and send it to the respective countries.
Sir, in terms of CTD, how we will send that one?
So we are sending into the CD or into the drive. So like that we are going to send. Yeah. So it is something like electronic. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. I think we don't have more questions. Some more question by Menas. Elaborate on dossier. Shiva, just maybe a few lines on dossier. You want to speak? Hello, Shiva, are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Shiva sir, you're there?
Yeah. Can you please repeat the question? Sorry, I was.
Shiva,
Just
few lines
please.
on dossier.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, Shiva sir.
Yeah. Okay. The dossier is okay. So dossier is like a technical package, I would say. So right from the obtaining the DMF, from what is the process you are using in the manufacturing, what is the controls you have in the quality controls, what is the assurance we are going to give. So all these things will fit in a technical package and will submit for authority for us. So if I say dossier, so there are five modules: module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So module 1 talks about the administrative part of a company or a product. So module 2 we talks about the CTD summaries like how the product is product is there, in briefly we are going to settle in the module 2. So module 3 is more of a quality. So how we are going to manufacturing the API, we are going to test the product. So all these things will include in the module 3. Module 4 and 5 is clinical and non-clinical things, like preclinical. What are the results you got from the preclinical? So and what you got from the clinical, say in vitro studies and all. So all these things will include in the dossier. So to get the approval from the MH, say Ministry of Health.
Thank you, Shiva. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
So I think we have questions. I think we'll send some more responses to you. Any specific question, you can unmute and speak. Thank you very much for your participation today, and we will be shortly in contact. Thank you, Shiva sir, for your fabulous presentation. Thank you, Mr. Saxena, for your very, very interactive, session, and very, very comprehensive the view of the Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Council on the skilling, and very, very specifically on this skill, on the regulatory skill set. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. We'll be in contact, sir. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Shiva.
you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.